Okay, I need to cut down this board because it's the last one of my ceiling battens that I'm putting in. So I've done most of the ceiling across the van and I just have this last board against the passenger side to install. So I only need this much, so I've got to cut off this small section. But I want to make a line because I don't trust myself with the saw to just cut a nice straight line all the way through. So how do I make a line from the front to the back easily without running a straight edge or a string line, which is also a good idea. Another thing that a lot of carpenters do, or guys who do plasterboards and things like that, they very easily, they just use a tape measure and a pencil. It's a very quick little process. It's pretty spot on, but let's just have a go and let's mark a line from the front to the back, and then what we'll do is we'll get the saw and we'll cut this down. Another reason I've got these little clamps here, they're just cheap. You can put a screw in area. If you didn't have it painted, you could put a screw in to hold this to the workhorse here, or you can just use these clamps. I'm going to be cutting on this side, so it's not going to be in the way of my saw. When you put a screw through, you can put the saw straight over it, and that way it's nice and secure. You're not going to lose the plank off the workhorse, and that way it's safe to cut. But anyway, let's mark this out. So what I do is I get the tape measure. I just put my finger there against the edge and get my tape. Put my tape there. Get my pencil. Put it there. Excuse my paint hands. And I literally just run all the way down. Now looking at that line, it looks pretty spot on. So carpenters and plasterers, they're pretty well on the money when they use a little principle like this. It's pretty accurate, and especially for what we're going to be doing, this section here within 10 mil of this board is actually not going to be seen anyway. So it's not probably what they would do on an absolute finished edge. They would use their straight edge, or they would use their level. But in a situation like this, when we're just working away, we can quite comfortably just mark off a section. So once again, you get your tape measure, you put your finger, full finger against that there, put your pencil down, you hold the tape and you hold the pencil, and then off you go. Bit of a gap there, but so in principle works quite nicely. So what I'm going to do is get my power saw. I'm going to cut from this end down to that end, and that way I will avoid hitting my clamps. Just so I get a nice finish, I've actually made my blade quite short. My personal opinion is I feel the higher the adjustment, or the deeper the blade is down here, the more ripping effect it sort of has on sort of soft timber. So I could be wrong. The carpenter could make a comment in the comments below and correct me on that, but just my opinion from my experience, I think when I've got a short blade, it doesn't, of course the blade has a big impact on that too. The smaller the teeth, the finer the work. The bigger the teeth, the more heavy duty ripping effect that the saw has. But I've got sort of a multi-purpose saw blade, but I still feel that adjusting the blade has a slight effect on a less ripping effect. I guess because it's not coming up. I don't know. I really don't know what I'm talking about. They'll correct me in that. should have adjusted this. There you go. Try not to get that damaged. That was a bad mistake. Keep in mind, don't do that. The rag flapped under and got caught. I'm just doing that because I've just got a finished edge there. That's why I've got the rag there, but it wasn't supposed to get caught in the blade. Keep in mind, don't do what I did. It's a good principle to live by. Don't do what I do. Make sure you get your hand under the back to catch it. Okay. So I've got a pretty good edge there now. Pretty good edge running through here. So it's worked quite nicely. So now we'll go into the van. And that's where it's going. It's going against that edge there towards the back. This section here is above the cupboard. That's not going to be seen. So I'll probably put a piece in there later. Anyway, nice place to be working today in the park. I'll put this piece up now.